Following on from what Keith was saying in his chicken video, is Bitcoin mining actually worth doing?
Ah, the Bitcoin Project!
In short, not really. I've got to be honest with you. I've done some research and it seems that Bitcoin mining, the days of Bitcoin mining for yourself from home as an individual have long gone. This is because the process of mining Bitcoin is far too difficult now for a single PC to do. In the early days, this little device, let's see if we can focus on that. Come on, you can do it. That is a computer's CPU. In particular, that is a Intel i7 processor. It's the first generation one, so it's quite an old one. But at the time of its release, this was the best processor that Intel made. And people used to use this to mine Bitcoin. The processing power of this was considered adequate to solve the blocks in the blockchain, until people realised that their graphics card could figure these problems out much faster than the CPU could. So the CPU was obsolete, not in the computer world, in the mining world. The reason behind this, in short, is that the CPU is an executive. It's designed to make decisions. So when the computer's running, the CPU makes all the decisions for it. The graphics card is a labourer and it's designed to follow instructions. So essentially it's a slave to the CPU. So, and obviously the capacity of this is much faster anyway. If the processor in a graphics card was too slow, the gaming experience would be terrible. Every time you turned around, it would sort of freeze up and it'd be awful. So they're designed to be really, really fast. So this is, by the way, just what I've sort of read about. In short, for those of you who don't know, Bitcoin mining is the process of adding new transactions to Bitcoin's public ledger. And what that means is, because Bitcoin is decentralized, it's not owned or run by any particular person or company, the people who are mining Bitcoin have the software on their computer and that stores the public ledger. So all the Bitcoin miners have a copy of the ledger on their respective PCs. So obviously this means that for somebody to hack the ledger, they would have to persuade more than 50% of all of the miners collectively to add the same block to the ledger to override everybody else's version of the ledger, if that makes sense. It's really complicated and I don't really understand it myself properly. This is just sort of what I've figured out for myself. But the more people mining Bitcoin, the more difficult these blocks get for your computer to solve. Obviously that is because Bitcoin mining essentially is like when a government print more money. Because more people earn money, they need to print more so that it can be earned by people. I don't know. I'm just making this bit up really. But yeah, essentially there is a reward for Bitcoin mining. And when people mine Bitcoin, they solve what are known as blocks. One block, the reward for one block is 25 Bitcoin, which is a hell of a lot of money when you translate that into dollars. So it has to get more and more difficult because more people start doing it, and one person earning 25 Bitcoin would be ridiculous. If they could do that even in a month, that would be an insane amount of money to earn. So what they have to do is they have to make it more and more difficult, which in turn means that even the graphics card is too slow at solving these blocks, meaning that it's getting increasingly more difficult for single people to mine Bitcoin. I don't mean single as in relationship status, by the way. I mean single as in just one of them. It's more difficult now for them to Bitcoin mine from home. So what they started doing was people created what were known as pools. So they would collectively put the processing power of 100 computers into one pool, and they would figure out these blocks together as a collective, and the rewards were split between each of these computers. Obviously that took off, people were doing that for quite a while, but now it's even more difficult. There are actually people that are Bitcoin mining from data centers. I mean, these are rooms full of servers which their capacity is massive. So For one person to mine Bitcoin, it's just not cost effective. By the time you've figured out how much it costs to buy a computer that's capable of mining sufficiently, this graphics card, by the way, is relatively cheap at about €250. It cost me. This is the graphics card out of my PC. It is by no means quick enough for Bitcoin mining to make it cost effective. By the time you've paid your electricity bill as well, you're just going to be working at a loss. By the way, this is my old power supply out of my PC. That is a 1,000-watt power supply. Can you imagine having that running 24/7, mining Bitcoin? Your costs in electricity would be astronomical. By the way, I have actually changed it. I've not just taken this out of my PC. This is an old one. I've now got a 750-watt power supply. Even that would just cost far too much to have running and mining Bitcoin. Using the graphics card to its full capacity, it just costs far too much to do. So I think I've established that it is just not a viable solution. Possibly we might look into mining different cryptocurrencies, ones that aren't so difficult to solve in the future. That could be cost effective, so we'll look into that at some stage. But my job is to figure out how to use the Bitcoin that I've got. Where's my phone? It's recording there. I was going to show you my Bitcoin wallet on my phone, but I forgot that my phone's there recording me. So my job is to look into different ways of making more Bitcoin out of the Bitcoin that I've got. So I'm going to go over to my laptop now and I'm going to show you what my first attempt is going to be. So I've done a little bit of research and I'm going to start by saying I know that I said that I wouldn't be copying Keith and trading cryptocurrencies, but it looks like all three of us are going to be doing that now. So I did a bit of research and I thought that I would go with Moneto, I think it's called, and I was going to get some Litecoin as well. And I think I've figured out one of the reasons that cryptocurrencies haven't really taken off yet. I installed the Litecoin wallet onto my PC and it didn't take long for me to realise how much of a pain in the arse that was going to be. I installed the wallet and at the bottom of the sort of window that popped up, it said that it was 5.5 years out of date and that it had to download every single transaction ever made with Litecoin, which potentially with my internet connection here in Spain could take months to complete. So I quickly uninstalled that and I've kind of ditched the Litecoin idea. So I wanted to go with Moneto and sort of transfer some Bitcoin into Moneto in the hope that Moneto will gain in value against Bitcoin. Did a bit of research. I found Poloniex. This is a website where you can trade cryptocurrencies. So I was going to use this to send Bitcoin into Moneto. Signed up and I'm still waiting for the confirmation email to go into my inbox, which I've been waiting about an hour already for that. So it doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon. I then messaged Keith on Skype and asked him what he was using to transfer. And he said that he was going to use Coinbase, which is this here. Signed up for Coinbase and it turns out you can only trade Bitcoin and Ethereum with Coinbase. So that also is useless for me. So I've decided to carry on with the video anyway, just to say that this is one of the reasons why cryptocurrencies haven't taken off, as far as I'm concerned. It's just too fucking difficult to do anything with it. I've been sat here for what feels like 4 weeks, trying to figure out how to send Bitcoin into Moneto. It shouldn't be this fucking difficult. That's the bottom line. It's just too hard to do it. This Poloniex potentially could be easy, but I can't even sign up. I can't sign in. I click sign in and it wants me to check my email and click the confirmation link before signing in, which I have checked my email and nothing's come through. So I'm going to have to leave the video here, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, but so far I think we've established that it just needs to be simplified a bit. That's the main issue, is that it's too difficult for people to do anything with it. So, yeah, that's pretty much all for this video. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow my progress and of how we're getting on with trying to make some Bitcoin out of Bitcoin. If you want to donate to the cause, you can go to thebitcoinproject.com/Lee. That's LEE. And yeah, that's pretty much all. As I said, subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up if you thumbs up the video, and leave comments below if you have any if you've had any issues with trying to get stuff done with cryptocurrencies. I'd love to hear from you and hear about your experiences. Until next time, keep watching all our videos and take care. Bye bye.
The